I've got some good news and some bad news for you. The good news is these Larsen Il Cannone GOLD violin strings are some of the best sounding violin strings I've ever played. The bad news is they're really expensive, but they might be worth it. Let's get into it.
Michael explains it all, or nothing at all.
Welcome back to Michael Explains It All. Let's see if I remember how to do this, or nothing at all. This is the Larsen Il Cannone GOLD set. This is a relatively new set of strings from the same people that have brought us all other 600 variants of Il Cannone. Or just 6. I believe there are 6 complete sets and some extra variants. There's a lot of Il Cannone strings basically, but the Golds are the top of the line. They're flagship Il Cannone, you might say. The most Cannone of Il Cannone. It is a synthetic core string, of course. The G and the D string really do the heavy lifting here. They are wound in 10 karat gold. The A is just an aluminum A string, the E is just a carbon steel E string, so I'm mostly just going to be talking about the G and the D strings. And they are expensive! At the time of filming this, the complete set will run you $495. I mean, the G string alone is $300. That's almost twice as much as the next cheapest complete set of strings. So, why are they so expensive? Or why would you ever consider buying them? And who are they for? Those are the two big questions that we're going to answer here today. So stick around. So the underlying premise of why you would even consider buying these strings and why Larsen would suggest you buy them is, of course, longevity. And they claim that you can play these set of strings 3 to 5 times longer than your average set of strings. So if you change your strings every 4 months, could you go a year to a year and a half on the same set of strings? Seems possible. But if you change your strings every 6 months, which is becoming more and more likely, or even longer, would you go a year and a half to 2.5 years on the same set of strings? Can't say for sure or that I would want to do that. What I can say, and back to some of the good news and why it's taken me so long to make a video about these strings, is that I have actually been playing the Il Cannone Golds, the G and the D string at least, for 6 months, and they still sound like new strings. I am very impressed with how long they have maintained their luster, and so far I'm pretty impressed. How I could best describe the sound is that they're very warm, very focused, and very deep. It's almost like the first day when you wake up with a cold in your head or something, and your voice is all of a sudden very deep, and you have like some extra resonance, and you're just like, oh, listen to me, I'm a bass today, which is exciting for me because I'm normally a little bit more of a tenor. And so when I wake up and I'm like, whoa, it's like playing strings like that, where you're just like, oh, everything has such like a shine and shimmer and clarity. And it's been a very nice set of strings for my instrument. Again, I want to to emphasize that you're hearing these after 6 months of them being on my instrument. That's insane. I would normally record these videos after just a couple days just to let that metallic sound kind of wear off. But after that, this long, they still have that crispiness, they still have a sheen to the sound. I guess I would say the sound is like a glowing golden egg statue that's just like shining and emitting all this warmth and color, kind of like Indiana Jones or something, right? Like just like that. And what I would say that I don't like about the strings is that the strings have a personality to them. It's in a good way, it's kind of like dressing up. Like you're putting on your nice tuxedo and your top hat and you're looking your best, and they make your violin sound really great. On the contrary side is maybe it's kind of like you're always wearing a tuxedo and a top hat, and maybe like for my violin it's like it's a good sound, but I don't think it's me. I don't think it's my sound, or it's not like the real sound of my violin. It's tuxedo and top hat sound, which again is there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like it is a flavor. It is a little bit correcting. And so keeping that in mind, if your violin is maybe a little bit thin, a little bit bright sounding, these strings will really kind of help correct it a little bit and flavor your sound to be a little more desirable, maybe a little more warmth, a little more depth to it, a little more a little more bass, a little baritone at least, if you're kind of more of a tenor. But all that being said, nobody is gonna stop you on the street or mid-rehearsal or stop your audition and say, "What is that sound? I've never heard a violin sound like that." Like, they still sound like violin strings. It's not this incredibly new sound that is gonna blow your mind. They sound like good violin strings. Really good violin strings. And the premise is they last longer than every other string. So should you buy this set of strings? I don't know, do you have student loan debt you should be paying off? Like, you should maybe pay that first. Can you buy a homeless person a meal? Maybe do that. And then think about buying these strings. All jokes aside, I think if you normally change your strings every 6 months, at minimum, leaving them on for a year would justify the expense of buying these strings, especially just to try them out if you're curious at all about changing new strings. For me, I'm in one camp. On one hand, I like changing strings. I like trying new strings, and it's like the changing of seasons. It's like the first time you step outside and there's a crisp chill in the air and the first red leaf, or like, or when spring comes and, or summer comes, you can finally wear flip-flops and shorts again, and it's putting new strings on my instrument is like a breath of fresh air. It's the best your instrument is ever gonna sound with new strings. However, on the other hand, there are people that hate changing strings, that they don't want to think about new strings. They don't want to try a new string. They want to put them on. They want to forget it. Like it's a hassle to change your strings and all that jazz. They just want to put them on and leave them and forget about them. They're probably not the people that are watching a YouTube video about somebody yakking on about a new string, so it's probably not you. But if you were one of those people, these would be a great string, because like they claim you could leave them on for 2.5 years and be fine. I think the takeaway is that the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. And what I think I would recommend doing is, because the G and the D string are doing the heavy lifting here, give them a try. And if your violin is feeling kind of a little dull, change the E string and the A string. They're not really anything special about this set, because they're just aluminum A string, carbon steel E string. E strings are like a couple dollars, and so for maybe $30 or $40 total, you could change the A and the E strings have a pretty much a new sounding violin, because the G and the D strings are going to last way longer. Even on any set of strings, the G and the D string always last much longer anyways. So I think that is kind of the sweet spot, or maybe would be the ticket, or we would ease the financial burden of trying out a new set of strings. So I would say buy them if you're looking for a warm, focused, radiant sound and a string that has an incredible lifespan. Or if you just had a windfall of money and looking for something to spend it on, or after you're done playing them, you are into arts and crafts and want to make a $500 necklace out of the strings, like that would be fun. But I would say you could skip them if you were looking for something with a little more natural or neutral of a sound. Also, if you were looking for something with like a little more color, a little more nuance in the string. And lastly, if you're looking for something with a little more ease of playing, or like a lower resistance to playing, maybe not the string for you. I still consider them a soloist set of string, that they require a little more intention with this in your sound production. And so playing all the way to pianissimo still requires a little bit of intention. You can't really just play incredibly soft. It's kind of like or so. I wouldn't say that they're a universally beloved string. It's maybe not for everyone, so keep that in mind. So in closing, I think these are a fascinating set of strings, and I'm glad they exist. Normally I think I would be ranting about how expensive these are, and this is just markup, and they're just like, making money, exploiting us, and what do you think, I'm made of gold or something here? Pun intended. But I think the premise is valid, and I'm glad that they are tackling the problem head on that has plagued violin strings since the dawn of time, is that violin strings sound good for a short period of time. Very short. And all these new companies are coming out with new strings like Tomastic and Parasto, and yeah, they sound a little bit better and a little bit better for a short, kind of the same short period of time. And so Larsen Gold, the Il Cannone Gold strings sound on par, equally as good with the other set of strings, but claim to last 3 to 5 times longer. I think I've experienced that they last at least twice as long, I would say, because normally I would have changed these strings by now, but they're still going strong, so I can't say for certain that they're going to last twice as long, 3 times as long. We'll see. That's going to be up on you. I hope that you will, if you have tried these or if you've kept them on for however long, leave a comment in the description box below there and let me know, what you think, what your experience has been. Again, I think the sweet spot is going to be if you give them a try and you're not happy with them after 6 months or a year or something, you can still kind of justify the expense if you just change your E string or just change your A string or both for a fraction of the cost, because I think that's still going to, liven up your sound while still enjoying the warmth and the radiance of the Il Cannone Gold. Oh, isn't that lovely? Leave a comment and let me know what your experience is. Thanks so much for watching this. Be well and practice well.